Hear the roar of the motor. Just racing no longer surprise anyone. But you definitely have not seen this yet. These riders park on the roofs of the car, doing incredible stunts. What about a tornado of motorcyclists' cooler-only collision? Like in the movie Taxi, watch the video to the end. You won't regret. Today we will show you the most amazing moments. Auto and motorsports. But first fasten your belts and tap the bell. Let's go! Think this guy is looking for a parking spot? No, this is Citroën pilot Chris Meek. Flew off the track a few seconds ago. Led the last kilometer of the Mexican rally. Chris was chaotically racing between cars until I found my way back, and you know he won the race. Ahead of the opponent by 13 whole 8/10 seconds. Pilot Dale Earnhardt Jr. got so carried away with the race that accidentally ripped off the steering wheel at 183 km/h speed. He only continued to drive the car with his hand and then put the steering wheel in place like nothing happened. Okay, steering wheel, but what if both front wheels fell off? Pilot Thordu Sebastian Buemi only a little slowed down on the turn and his wheels just came off and drove on the track next to the car. Is good that it was only training before the Chinese Grand Prix. Randy Mamal didn't have a chance to stay on the bike, but look what he does. It seems that he saddled on the bull's rodeo and not a motorcycle. No wonder. What about his 13-year motorsport career? He didn't have a single serious accident. But Brett Keselowski during the Scar race decided to stop by on the pit stop without slowing down, and that's what came out of it. One mechanic had to hop on the hood. The wheel rolled right onto the track, and the other Pete stackers just jumped off the car. And then the rider decided to pass back, making the team run after him. And the wheel should be there. Red Lance Stroll car pilot collided with car by Sebastian Vettel after the finish of the race. From hitting his front wheel just flew out onto the roof. After this, the pilot had to hitchhike to get to your own beatbox. Those riders were determined to win the race, but their bikes decided to dance. After the collision, they grappled rudders and circled around riders. All attempts to separate this couple did not bring results. Riders had to come to terms with defeat. Racers Martinez and Calva collided during the Costa Rica Championship, and Martinez just decided to switch to a rival bike. And when they stopped, then he hit his opponent directly on the helmet and went away. Yeah, cool guys don't look at explosions. But Cavs decided to take revenge. He ran around, and that's all. No wonder that they both got disqualified for 2 years. Remember this moment from Cab movie? Now we will show you something cooler. Danielle Hun Kodal I crashed into the wall at Julia track with Orca. 2 riders managed to slip through the accident, and the rest they began to crash into each other. 1, 2nd, 3rd. As many as 16 cars in one pile. Probably this is the most expensive accident in the history of racing. Only 4 cars survived this race. So the race was stopped. And again, problems at Tim Scheider. His hood just opened in the middle of the race. The incident happened on the 2nd lap of the race. But Tim is practically blind. Drove the whole track and even took 2nd place. French rider Sébastien Ogier raced to the finish line. How suddenly that these are cows. They are very lucky. The knight reacted in time and completely did not hurt them. But these cows were still dissatisfied. Riders often fall off motorcycles, but you saw motorcycles fall during the race. Look up, bikes fall on the side and just slide on the pavement. The fact is that on this section of the highway, engine oil leak occurred. Because of this, control lost as many as 13 motorcyclists. Luckily, no one serious was injured. Angel Menzel was the leader of the Portuguese Grand Prix in 1991. He drove by the pit stop to change tires, rushed out of his seat and lost his wheel. It knocked down Pete the Stacker like Skittles. Rider almost cries of resentment and hopes catch up with rivals after fixing, but he does not know yet that he gets disqualified for replacing the wheel. Out of zone pit stop, and the fault of the mechanic. Martini and Fittipaldi riders were left quite a bit to the finish line, but because of the collision, Fittipaldi machine flipped in the air. After the flip, the rider reached the finish line on 3 wheels. Look, his hurts, shakes like a shaker while cooking a martini. But they are teammates. Think this guy parked perfectly. That's what I call perfect parking. Due to a clash with a competitor, the Jules Gauman car ended up right on the roof of the car. Geoffrey DiNardo, rider, didn't get any injuries, quickly ran away from the scene of the incident. This is the most memorable moment of the Porsche Cup rally. Nonsense Keselowski lost control, and his car turned 180 degrees. And so he managed to drive right into his pit stop. That's luck. The mechanics only had to do their job. Lucky rider arrived to finish 13th. Blind driving experience received, and all participants of the world race. Truck camping. There was a complete power outage on the track. The race had to end early, but Eric Jones still managed to get into the lead. He that had night vision goggles. And a ghost rider broke into this race. No, not this bike. This rider seemed to saddle Ghost and tried to escape on it from track workers, and you have an explanation for this incident. That pigeon got on the track right in front of the car, and wow! Did you know that pigeons can do flips? Back before watching this video. And this one is insane. The bird decided to fly towards Sebastian Vettel. Incredible, but the car wheel didn't even hurt her. But that was really close. Like this video and you will also be lucky. Who needs a race if you can swim in a pond? From Tanak, his teammate get out of the car fast, which goes underwater, like the Titanic. Someone tell them that they can fit on the roof together. Amazing, but their Ford managed to fix in just 3 hours, and the riders continued to race. You definitely saw how a motorcycle gets on the back wheel. And now look, how does a racing car do that? When Tyler Averingham ran over the curb, his car took a vertical position for a few seconds, but he immediately continued the race. See the small pieces around George Russell's car? They used to be the bottom of the car, until she ran over the drainage hatch. Straight off the track, the car was taken by a tow truck and crashed into a pedestrian bridge because of the impact. Machine oil spilled straight on the roof of the car. And for what, Georgie, all this? Lewis Hamilton could have won the Canadian Grand Prix if didn't become the culprit of triple emergency pits to be. He crashed into a Raikkonen rider car, and that by inertia touched the nearest McLaren. So the race lost to leaders at once. And all because that you had to wait for the green traffic light. Tim Scheider knocked 2 opponents off the track at once. Robert Vickens and Pascal Wehrlein. This could have stayed a regular incident if his supervisor from Audi didn't give the command, push them out right on air. After this, Tim got disqualified. Audi team issued a fine of €200,000. Torrential downpour turned Brazil Grand Prix track in 2016 to dangerous rink. Max Verstappen's car skidded on a turn. She turned around and ended up inches from the bump. But he taxed, without even sparing the speed. Here he is king of wet roads. It's time to finish. Which moment surprised you the most? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. See you in new video.